Hey, it's Randy from Voices. Now, a lot of talent have asked us if adding music to their auditions is a good idea. The simple answer is not usually. We typically recommend that you don't. The reason being is that we don't want anything to stand in the way of a client hearing your awesome performance and having that negatively affect your ability to book work. That's really the bottom line. Now, this comes from a lot of historical evidence, industry insight, and experts who strongly insist that music tends to hinder booking rates. This is even supported by some of our voiceover coaches we've worked with. They've said that as casting directors and as voiceover coaches, they've always recommended not adding music because it can be distracting, it can mask the performance, and if the music is different from the music that they had in mind, it can really turn the listener off of your audition. But what if a client doesn't know how to produce a radio spot? What if the production on your audition is the very thing that sets you apart from other talent? Maybe you're missing out on opportunities because you're not showing off this massive set of skills that you happen to have. If you've watched our last coaching webinar with Ron Allen, he says that he always goes above and beyond for each opportunity. And that's really worked for him in the past. He always sends the client a completed, ready-to-air production, which he's well known for. It's really worked for him. So what is really best? Well, a couple of the top performers on our site do actually submit auditions with music. They'll usually send the clients their best take over music, and then immediately followed up with a second file that's the exact same take, but over silence. That way, if the client feels like the music may be covering things up or distracting, they do have the clean take to use immediately after. You could also experiment with putting the clean take first, followed by the take with music. Now, of course, we've never recommended slating at the beginning of your audition because it can be a bit distracting, and of course, the client can see your name right beside the audio player. But a lot of talent who do 2 takes in one recording will start by saying 2 takes and then get right into the first take, just to give the client a bit of an incentive to stick around and hear the rest of the audition. And adding music isn't as much work as you may think. They're not searching for new music every single time. They actually just keep several songs in their recording session, but they'll keep them on mute. That way they simply have to unmute the one that's the most appropriate and bounce out the whole session. So it really doesn't take much more work than unmuting a track. And it goes without saying, the music shouldn't be used to cover up bad recordings. The point is to show off your exceptionally recorded voice by adding it to a final production, so to speak, to excite the client and hopefully help you stand out above the crowd. So were we wrong? Are we eating our words here at Voices? No. Most talent on the site still book work without adding music to it, so it still is the best way to book work. Our manager of talent services, Juliana, you've seen her on here before, she's a total guru of numbers and stats around talent success. And she said they could just focus on their reads, get more auditions out, and spend that time making new demos, all of which we know to positively influence hire rates. But there may be room to experiment, and there may be ways for you to book more in a way that works really well for you and sets you apart. If you think that your booking rates could improve, give it a shot. Commit to it for a month or so, see how things change. Now, if you want to see more info about completing auditions, check out this video right here. This covers the entire auditioning process from start to finish. As always, happy auditioning, and we'll see you in the next one.